I have a 5-minute practice that I do most mornings that has done more for my business than really any planner, any goal setting framework, any productivity system I can think of that I've ever tried. I do it before my coffee, before I open my email, before anything reactive gets a chance to really pull me off track. And over the last nearly 2 years, it's been the thing that has kept me focused, motivated, and moving towards the business and life that I actually want. I'm going to walk you through that exact practice in this video so you can steal it for yourself. I teach something called the Lifestyle First Business Model Design, and the whole thing rests on one idea. There is no outworking a bad business model, and there's no making a business model work if it doesn't fit the time and energy you actually have available. So before you get to your marketing, before you design your offers, you need a foundation, a business model that is built to actually reach your revenue goals, built to fit your real life at the same time. The very first piece of that foundation is your vision, your life vision, and your business vision together. Once you have it, it becomes really the filter for every future business decision that you make. And I find that it really simplifies all of those decisions too, which means you're not wasting time making decisions, right? You can get straight into action. This is also where I watch a lot of business owners go really, really, really wrong in four pretty predictable ways. The first is they skip vision altogether, right? Which leaves you making decisions in the dark and just reacting to whatever feels urgent that particular day. The second mistake I see is treating your vision as busy work. So you maybe did the exercise once at a retreat in 2022 or 2016, whatever it was, and it's been sitting in a Google Doc or a printed out workbook that you really haven't opened ever since. The third mistake is building a vision and then never making a point to connect to it or use it, right? Because even a great vision becomes pretty much forgotten and invisible if you don't actively look at it. It's not going to be able to do its job. It needs to be present, not just stored somewhere out of sight, out of mind. And the fourth big mistake is really, I think, the biggest one this whole approach fixes. It's when you build your vision around the business, completely forgetting about your life. The reason that the order gets people into trouble is because a business designed first gets built around a version of you that doesn't exist. You map the revenue, the offers, and the calendar around the capacity that you wish you had instead of the time and energy you actually do have. That way, your life becomes the thing that has to squeeze in around your business, and that's the totally wrong way to go about it. Starting with your life vision gives the business a clear job to do. It exists to make that lifestyle, make that life possible. Your business vision stops being some standalone wish list and turns into the engine for the life that you actually want to live. That is, I think, really what makes it a cohesive lifestyle first business model, with your life setting the boundaries and your business funding and supporting it. Plus, every decision you make gets so much quicker, so much easier because you know exactly what you're building and who it is for. My business went through a huge lull from 2022 into the start of 2024. Things were okay, but they were just like slowly tinkering along, and then it got really bad at the start of 2024. Then over the last couple of years, things have really turned around, and a lot of that came down to getting super, super clear on this vision and connecting with it every single day. What really made the difference, though, is that connection piece. A vision sitting in a document doesn't do much for you. It starts working when you revisit it often enough that it shapes your small daily decisions, the little yes and no calls that add up over months. That is what kept me on track when it would have been so easy to drift toward whatever felt urgent that particular day. The part that I love the most, though, is how small it is. It is a 5-minute micro habit that I do in the morning before I've even had my coffee, and that tiny daily practice is, what I'm walking through in this video. And it works because the vision underneath it is built in the right order. Life first and business second. There is research behind this too. A 2016 TD Bank survey looked at over 1,100 people, including 500 small business owners. 76% of the entrepreneurs in that group who visualized their goals said that their progress lined up with the vision that they'd set. And 82% of those small business owners accomplished over half of their business goals. I'll link the study down in the description. I find it super fascinating. I'll admit that when I used to look at vision, I used to think of it as fluff. Early on in business, I'd take a little course, get told to do my vision, roll my eyes a little bit, and maybe do it once and check it off. What changed was my mind was watching it work, right? In my own business and in my clients, once I started turning it into a practice. There's a really clear difference between the business owners that I see, the clients that I see who buy into this process, and the ones who skip it. The ones who do it make decisions that pull them closer and closer to the life and business that they're wanting to build, often like really steadily. So they're like living pieces of that life before they even stop to notice. But if you skip it, you stay stuck reacting instead of deciding intentionally. A fuzzy vision creates its own problems. When you're not clear on what you're actually working towards, you won't recognize it, that life you wanted, even when you're standing right in it. And a clear vision that you wrote once and never look at does the exact same thing. You forget the specifics and you stop steering towards it. So you end up making it up as you go. Clarity and connection are what make this vision actually work. So when you actually sit down to build your vision, there are 3 parts to it. Part 1 is your life vision. I want you to start with your life because the whole point is building a business that supports it. Picture your ideal life 1 to 3 years out or 3 to 5 years out, whatever time frame lets you stretch into the version that you're working towards. Write it in present tense like it's already happened and be super specific. Here is what you're mapping. A typical day from start to finish, your home and environment, your relationships, your health, what lights you up outside of work, your relationship with money. Just a little quick tip here. When you read your answers back, I want you to notice what comes up. Is it excitement, surprise, grief? All of that is information. The places that stir some kind of emotion are likely pointing you towards what actually matters the most to you. All right, let's get to part 2. So part 2 is your business vision. So once the life vision is clear, I want you to zoom into the business that makes it all possible. Same time frame, same present tense, same level of detail. This is where the business gets a specific shape instead of staying some just vague goal that you can't quite picture. Here's what you're mapping with this one. We want to know your role and what you actually do day to day, your support system, your numbers, your impact on clients, your operations, your brand and reputation. Another quick tip here is once you've filled these in, write the whole thing as one paragraph or one story describing the business that you're running 3 years from now. Make it feel as real as possible. That paragraph, that story can become the version that you read back to yourself later, which matters a lot for the practice I'm about to show you. So part 3 is how these two fit together. This is the step that most people skip, and it's the biggest mistake because it is like the one thing that's going to make this whole thing really work. You can have a beautiful life vision and an ambitious business vision, but if the two don't come together and fit together, one of them is always going to end up giving in to the other. This is the part where you make them cohesive. Here is what you're mapping. Where does work fit into your ideal day, week, month, year, etc.? What your business needs to actually make possible for you and what your business can absolutely not require of you. Quick tip here, I want you to pay the closest attention to that last one. Naming what your business can't require of you, those deal breakers, are where your real boundaries come from. Even naming one thing in your current business that maybe clashes with that life vision counts as progress. It might be something like not working weekends or only taking meetings once a day or not traveling so much. Here's where the full process lives. So the whole thing is step 1 of my Lifestyle First Business Model mini course. Inside it, I take you through all 3 parts with the complete set of prompts and a whole lot more detail than I can fit here. For this video, these 3 parts and a few of these prompts are plenty to get you started. Here is the 5-minute daily practice. This is the part you came for, my actual daily vision routine. So once you have written your vision, the practice is what turns it into something that you actually use instead of something that just collects digital dust in a Google Drive folder. There are really two parts to it, a one-time setup and a daily ritual that takes about 5 minutes. I prefer in the morning. Here's the setup. You do this just once, though you could and should update it from time to time as what you want changes. So you're going to start by writing your vision in detail. This is the life and business vision that you just mapped out. I want you to turn it into a story, rewrite your vision as a present tense story that you can read aloud. Then, speaking of that, you're going to record yourself reading it. I want you to use your phone or a microphone, read the story out loud, and save the audio. Your own voice carries cues that a generic recording just never could. Then you're going to layer in some music with some binaural beats, adding binaural beats underneath your recording. So more on those in a second. Then you're going to build a vision board full of the things that you described in that story. Make a simple one in Canva, set it as your phone or desktop background, or just save it as an image that you can pull up each day during this routine. So a quick word here on binaural beats. So combining those with visualization is something that athletes have been doing for a while, and there's some really interesting research behind it. Visualization or mental imagery is one of the most studied tools in sports psychology. Athletes use it to stay focused and motivated and to hold on to a clear picture of what they're working towards, which is exactly what we're doing here. The binaural beats piece has some support too. In one study, young elite soccer players who listened to binaural beats during sleep reported better sleep quality and higher motivation when they woke up. In another, amateur kickboxers who used the beats to their music between rounds saw better striking performance and faster recovery than music alone. I'm going to link both of those studies plus the imagery research in the description if you want to nerd out over it with me. So real talk though, I layer these beats in to help me drop into that relaxed but focused state the research connects with better mental rehearsal. I'm not claiming that the audio is some magic bullet or magic shortcut, but I also like listening to mine with music underneath because it makes the whole thing more enjoyable. And the more enjoyable it is, the more likely I am to actually do it. That is probably a big reason why I've kept this practice up as long as I have. Even if the science turned out to be total hogwash, I would still press play because it works for me. So here is my exact daily ritual, and it takes about 5 minutes. So you'll want to set aside about 5 minutes to do it. So in the morning, which is when I recommend, find a quiet space before email, before to-do list, before anything reactive can pull you out of that vision. This is such a great way to set the tone for your day. You're going to open up your vision board and let the images really land first and give your brain something to concretely anchor to. Put in your headphones. This blocks out everything else so nothing competes for your attention, and you're going to play that vision audio, your own voice reading your vision story with the beats underneath while looking at your vision board. I know how new practices go. They sound lovely in a video and then never quite make it into your actual routine. This one sticks because it asks so little of you. 5 minutes, a pair of headphones is really all it takes. Give it a couple weeks, like 21 days, 3 weeks, and just see what a difference it makes to you. That was about the point for me when it started to really feel easy and something that I looked forward to, but also where I could see areas where I'd actually started to move closer to my actual vision. If this vision piece resonated, it's just the first step in a much bigger process. The full thing is my Lifestyle First Business Model mini course built for coaches, course creators, and service providers who are tired of being told to pick between their income goals and their lifestyles. It's 10 steps with short walkthrough videos and templates for each one. Step 1 is the vision work from today in a lot more depth. And from there, it moves into your lifestyle factors and the boundaries that protect your calendar, your positioning. So one clear offer does the work of 5 scattered ones. You build your offer suite and pressure test the revenue math behind it. And it wraps up with a marketing plan that takes care of your sales, your leads, and traffic requirements for actually hitting those goals. So if you're ready to design the whole thing on purpose instead of just patching it together, the link is in the description. I think that starting with your vision is one of the smartest moves you can make in your business. It makes every decision after it so much easier because you finally know what you're building and who it is for. A business model that doesn't fit your actual life will never feel right, no matter how good it looks on paper. So start with the vision, the life and the business vision, write it down, run the 5-minute daily practice, and let it keep pointing you towards the life you're actually designing. If you like this and want more videos like it, give it a like, and I'd love to hear more in the comments. What does your ideal morning look like in the life that you're building? I'll see you in the next one.